What's good, y'all? I've got some very simple but very effective buffs for Alakazam. Keep in mind that none of these buffs are balanced for competitive play. Not that this Alakazam would be that crazy, honestly, but especially because of the speed drop. But I just wanted to clarify that for anybody who is expecting some type of competitive analysis for Alakazam. This is a very in-depth ROM hack. It's not even close to the average ROM hack that you've probably been accustomed to. I have reworked, buffed, and changed 600 moves in this hack. If you look on screen right now, I'm going to switch to the tab right here. You can find a link to this Google Sheet in the description down below. You are doing yourself a huge disservice if you're not checking out this Google Sheet. Bookmark it if this type of thing interests you. You can check out this move sheet in depth. There's dozens of different categories for all these crazy new moves and move effects and all that stuff. I would just take away everything you know about all the moves in the hack and just throw it out, because they're all way different and reworked, and it's all super cool. But yeah, give that a look and bookmark it. And also, if this type of thing interests you, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. You know, it would help me out. Also, make sure you leave a like, drop a comment down below, let me know what you think, all that fun stuff. But with that being said, Alakazam, very simple abilities. So I moved Trace from the Mega to the base form, which is cooler because then you can not only abuse it on base Alakazam, but also abuse it and then gain. Basically, you can abuse the ability that you gain or you Trace, and then you can Mega Evolve and gain Levitate, which is great on such a physically frail Pokemon. And honestly, even if you weren't this frail, for example, on a special side, being immune to stuff like Earth Power and Land's Wrath and all these other special ground moves is still useful. You know, it's 0% is better than taking 30%, for example. Not to mention, with the power levels and all the strong Pokemon in this hack, like, you're still taking 1,000,000 from Land's Wrath despite your 125 face PDF, you know, you're still taking a lot. So Levitate, definitely very useful. And the beautiful thing about having situational abilities like Trace and Levitate is that this is a ROM hack. So you have access to the trainer documents, and what you can do is you can use that infinite use ability capsule, which is by design, by the way. Every single Pokemon is balanced to have 2 good abilities to switch between. You can look, see what the trainers have, and then for that boss fight, say you want to Trace a certain specific ability, you can be very strategic as to when you switch your Alakazam in. And with all types of Pokemon having all types of crazy abilities now, you can Trace literally anything. You can become anything you want. Trace is a great ability in this hack, especially if you're smart about it, especially if you're playing like a Team Lock Nuzlocke or a Hardcore Nuzlocke and you're not, what's it called? And you're not, and you are looking at the trainers, then that's the best, most optimal use of Trace. Although, I mean, if you're playing blind and you're just playing for fun, casually, without doing a Nuzlocke, then, you know, you probably won't even bother with Trace. You probably just run Magic Card Life Orb every boss fight, because that's like a blanket set, you know. But I think playing with knowledge of what the trainers have is a lot more fun, so you can actually switch around your EV spreads, which are easily customizable now with infinite EV training items, switch around your abilities, switch around your moves, all that fun stuff with all the new TMs and tutors. I would definitely recommend playing that way, but you know, it's up to you, play whatever you want. With that being said though, Trace, very useful ability, definitely worth switching to. Levitate, very useful ability, and then your other set of abilities is Magic Guard, which in competitive, Magic Guard's amazing, right? You know, makes you immune to Stealth Rock and Toxic and all this other common stuff that flies around everywhere in competitive 6v6 singles, but this is not that. And entry hazards are pretty much a non-factor. Plumeria will use T-Spike, Guzma will use Sticky Web, which Magic Guard doesn't affect, and then a couple other guys might use some random hazards here and there, but it's not even close to something that I would like expect. Like, very few boss fights will use entry hazards because the fact of the matter is they're not that good. T-Spikes is good for the AI to abuse. Sticky Web is good for the AI to abuse, but stuff like Stealth Rock is not, because Stealth Rocks are good because it pressures Pokemon, right? You're supposed to force switches and pressure whatever comes in and take that chip, which racks up over the course of the game. But in freaking in game, like, the AI doesn't know how to pressure you that way, so your rocks are kind of just a waste of a move slot and a waste of a turn for them to use. Maybe like specific boss fights could use it, but it's very situational, not very good. So with that being said, Magic Guard's main use is literally just Life Orb. In fact, Magic Guard is actually not, it's kind of a meh ability, but you know, that Life Orb, especially on faster Magic Guard mons, is still worth it. You know, you get that big 30% power boost for free. That alone is definitely worth an ability slot on a Pokemon that was already really strong like Alakazam. Obviously, if it was like Pokemon that needed more buffs, I wouldn't give it Magic Guard because it's not that great of an ability in this hack, especially when there's so many better options. But it's still a good ability. Life Orb, also technically, yeah, like poison will appear every now and then outside of T-Spike, so being immune to it is still nice. If I mean being immune, I mean you won't take damage. Like, it's not totally useless or anything. It's just very situational. I would honestly run Trace in most fights on base Alakazam, unless I need that Life Orb boost, in which case then you would use Magic Guard and take no damage from Life Orb. That's very good. And Magic Guard is still solid at the end of the day. Mega Alakazam, however, the main reason for the speed drop is because of the ability Sixth Sense. Also because, number one, I also don't really see 150 base speed on Mega Alakazam anyways. Like, I know he's supposed to teleport around, but I don't know. I think 135 is a lot more reasonable for his design. But the main reason is just for balancing because of Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense gives him a 30% accuracy boost, so he has, I actually didn't give Hypnosis, but he does have Psy Strike, which is 85% accurate and 130 base power, Focus Blast, which is the same thing, and Thunder, which is 120 base power, but also 85% accurate. And you also have things like Flash Cannon, which are 90% accurate, 110 base power, so those are your main 4 Sixth Sense moves. Those actually might be your only inaccurate moves. I'm pretty sure those are literally the only ones, yeah. Besides, like, technically Zahab, but that doesn't count. So, Sixth Sense is great. It's more of a late game ability. Once you get access to the Thunder and Focus Blast TMs and Side Strike level up, Sixth Sense will be better. Otherwise, before you get to, like, Pony Island, the only use of Sixth Sense is Flash Cannon. That's like literally the only use. So in general, you'd be running Trace to levitate a lot more on Mega Alakazam up until you get to Pony Island and get the TMs for Thunder and Focus Blast. Especially on such a frail Pokemon, at least on the physical side, it's really nice to have access to that Thunder and Focus Blast. Running Zam under Psychic Surge would be pretty crazy because it does make him immune to the most common priority move in the game, First Impression, and then it also lets you just get crazy boosted attacks. So yeah, if you have a Psychic Surge ally, that would definitely be pretty cool with Alakazam, but you know, in a team like Nuzlocke, that's not guaranteed. And if you're playing for fun, then go ahead and use them together, you know, if you like Alakazam and you want to use it. Yeah, that's really about it. I don't know what else to say. Otherwise, they're very straightforward. The pre-evolutions have slightly lower special attack, just for balancing reasons, because they get actual moves now. Kadabra, like, I could have kept 120 special attack, but like, I don't know. It's like for Hala and stuff, it's a little bit much. I don't know. It would have been fine, honestly, but I also think this makes a little bit more sense anyways. So yeah, that's really about it. Volt Switch, that's a nice little big move that they get. Parting Shot as well, all good utility stuff. They have other good utility moves like Mystical Fire. Topsy Turvy is really good, that's priority now. Trick Room is neutral priority, so you can use fast Trick Room and then Parting Shot into your Abuser, or you can Focus Sash, Trick Room, or whatever you want to do. You know, all types of good things you can do with Alakazam with Trick Room. Obviously, you're not abusing that on your own. It's bad. Excuse me, which is why you get it very early. Most of the slower Trick Room abusers get it later on, but Alakazam means that you can actually run a Trick Room team earlier in the game if you want to. It's up to you. It's still situational. It's a level up move, which means that, you know, it's kind of taking up a slot that you could otherwise maybe be using like a utility move via TM or something. So, you know, maybe not for everybody, but it's for certain fights it could be useful, maybe versus Guzma or something. It's up to you. Topsy Turvy, very good versus Totems. And then otherwise you have pretty simple things. Hocus Pocus is a really fun move. I actually recently made it always flinch as well. Before that, it's essentially, it comes from Trump Card, so it's a 1 PP move that deals 200 base power. It's Psychic type, and it is +2 priority, so that's all really good. But I still felt like it was kind of situational, because like, I don't know, like what's the point? Like I feel like that's such a late level up move, like you'd rather have so many other things at that point. But now that I made it flinch, it's actually a genuinely really good option, especially for Totems, and also just in general to like come in and flinch them and deal a shitload of damage and then switch out or just finish them off with something. So definitely worth using for a little bit. You still have Recover, you have a better special defense, especially on Mega Alakazam, so you can actually take hits with your HP and special defense boost on the special side. Pure Psychic is not the best defensive typing in the game, but you still do have good resist to stuff like Psychic and Fighting, so it's not bad. Those are 2 really good resistances to have. Yeah, otherwise it's got better coverage now, you know, like I said, Mystical Fire, Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball, or Sphere, Thunderbolt, Thunder, Focus Blast, all types of good stuff. So yeah, I'll leave it up there. A couple more things I could touch on, but I think I can trust that you'll all be able to figure it out for yourselves in the description down below if you look at the move changes. I appreciate you listening this far into the video. Let me know down below what you think, and I'll be back for more buffs and changes coming up. Peace.